there's nothing like cracking that cellophane, pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. The Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
This is Dustin
and Jason
with Count Pariah, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. The Bod Father. And as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. And today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome Jason Breland and Dustin Barousse of Count Pariah has released their self-titled debut EP via Pavement Entertainment. And we're going to be talking to Jason and Dustin about Count Pariah's self-titled debut EP. So guys, how's it going?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing today?
Doing awesome. How excited are you guys to hopefully get back on the road a little bit, start to tour just a little bit, do some shows to get this Count Pariah EP out there to folks? How excited are you guys?
We're definitely ready to get this thing going again. It's been such a long time since we could really play live in front of people, and so I think us, along with everybody else, is ready to get back out there and start enjoying live music. We can't wait to show our new stuff to fans and show them what we're all about.
Yeah, and I gotta say, just like I told you before the interview started, this EP is phenomenal, and I'm not saying that because you guys are on here. All 4 tracks are bangers. They will knock you on your feet. These are very, very, very good songs from you guys. So I'm anxious to see what else you have in store, possibly coming down the pipe too.
Yeah, thanks, man. We appreciate that. We like that. We hope everybody likes it. We tried to sandbag a lot of things. We only recorded the stuff that we thought we had to record to get to the place that we're at now, and kind of held on to keeping some cards in our pocket.
Also, during lockdown, we've had a lot of time to work on so much new stuff too. That these 4 songs almost feel like they're old at this point because there's been such a delay.
Yeah, they do.
With the shutdown and everything.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I mean, these songs. How long have you guys been sitting on these songs, other than prior to the lockdown?
It was kind of a weird thing. Like, I've been in a lot of bands we all kind of have individually, but this is the most organic I've ever had a band come together. I've always looked for, everything in a band is about chemistry. It's not the individual players. It's how you play together, from my experience. And I've always looked for that singer that's just that perfect singer, and looked high and low, scoured the internet, played with so many people, and it was never it. And I was at work one day, and this guy came up to me I barely know. And he's like, hey, listen to this dude in my band sing. And it ended up being our singer, Shibby. And I was like, that's the best singer I've ever heard. And I thought, it's just some guy he knew. And he's like, yeah, that's him right there. I was like, hold up. I was like, that's him right there? And so it was so organic. And then the song Feel It at Night, me and the drummer had written that. And we just sent it to him in an email, and he sent back the lyrics totally done in about a day. It was so organic.
And I hope people understand when I say this, you can actually hear conviction when he's singing the songs, like lyrically. I mean, he is absolutely, to me, he's putting everything into each song. He's not just half-assed doing it. I mean, he's absolutely, you could tell from word to word, he is putting every ounce of energy he has into these songs, and you could tell. And that's just me personally.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like a lot of singers I've noticed, they'll have a good line, and then they'll just say something that rhymes after. And you can kind of hear that. He puts a lot of thought into it.
Puts a lot of heart into it, yeah.
Right. And he didn't, and those vocals that you hear are actually him singing. There's no doctoring done like a lot of music is these days. That's just him singing.
Even in practice, he puts passion in everything into every performance he does, which is nice.
Did you guys find yourself doing anything differently other than working on music, such as collecting or catching up on anything during this pandemic, possibly, or just all strictly songs?
Yeah, we all have jobs. We hope that one day this music gets us to a place where it can be more of a financial support for us. But we all have jobs and we have things going on. So this music thing is something we just do when we're all in the same place in life. We all have families and wives. None of us are that archetypal musician that's 21 years old and lives with his grandma just trying to make it. We all have a lot of things going on. And so when we're not handling that stuff, we were just working on songs.
Really echo what he just said. We've got Real Lives. This started as just kind of a release, something we love to do, a passion, and it's grown into more than that. But it's still something that we, just look forward to doing on the weekends. And as we've gotten more and more into it, it's really gained steam and taken more predominant role in our lives. I think all of us.
How does it feel to be signed with Pavement Entertainment? Let's talk about that a little bit. How excited are you guys that they are interested in wanting to put you on their label?
We were super stoked about it. I mean, we couldn't be more excited. They're a perfect fit for us. They really made us feel welcome in the Pavement family. They've got a great lineup. They've got great people behind the scenes. They're really easy, and you can tell they're rooting for us and on our side. And I think we really couldn't have found a better home at this point right now.
They've been super supportive. Anytime we need anything or anytime we contact them, we get responses immediately. And you always this is our first real dipping our toes into the real legitimate music business. And you always hear all these horror stories about how bad it is, and we have not experienced that. They've been terrific. They've been very supportive. This
is Count Pariah's self-titled debut album. How does it feel, guys, to have this debut EP in the Count Pariah music library so far, man?
It's great. It's just a start to a lot of things. Like we have so many songs already, and we don't know which ones we're going to record next or how we're going to do it.
Yeah, we're trying to be picky and choosy about the ones. We've got a fairly deep library considering how long we've been together, and it's a matter of trying to weed out the ones and make the ones that let the ones rise to the top and find the best way to tweak those and make them everything they can be.
And also, this thing's only been out a day. We don't know exactly where it's going to take us yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing I was getting ready to mention, that this just came out yesterday. So I'm telling you right now, folks, get out and grab this. Help this band, because these 4 tracks are amazing. And you will not be disappointed if you grab this EP, that's for sure. Writing the EP, did it challenge you as a band because of COVID, bringing it to life? Or these are songs that are already written prior to all this?
These songs were already written, and we began recording at Ridgestone Studios just when everything started to get really weird. Like, we were almost finished. And then it was March of, what would that be, 19 or 20?
20.
It'd be 20. March of 20, and we were watching the news, and I sent a text to all the guys one day. I was like, maybe we should just, chill out a week, see what happens here, because it was really picking up. And so we stopped in March, and then around June, I think, that the guy we were recording with at Ridgestone Studios was cool coming back, and we finished it. And after that, it was just getting people to mix it. Travis Wyrick.
Travis is great to work with.
Right, he was great, and getting it mastered. And then once we contacted Pavement, once we had a deal worked out, it's still, they put it 3 months out and all that. So a lot of the pandemic has been us just waiting on this to be done. Like, it's pretty much done before it started. It's like the whole world was on wait for a year.
Yeah.
As a band, were you a little nervous releasing this EP right now, since bands can't tour? They can't really do anything as of right now. I know things are opening up a little bit, but were you still a little nervous about this?
No, I think it's a great time, actually. I think everybody's hungry for good music, and as the world kind of opens back up, I think there's going to be a universal celebration. Just people wanting to get out, see live music, hang out with friends, kind of get back to some normalcy. I think this is actually a great time for us to get our stuff out there and provide people with an outlet to, get back to normal life.
What's impressed or excited you guys the most about making this debut EP, if anything? What sticks out the most for the both of you?
Sticks out the most probably be just the response of everybody, the support we've gotten from it, because this band started, like a lot of them have, like, we're just going to get together and just make music. We love it. We didn't know it was going to be as good as it is, or as we feel as good as it is. So from the beginning, it's like all the parts as they came together, we were all just we were dumbfounded. We didn't know it was going to be that good, in our opinion. Yeah,
the feedback's been amazing. It's a little overwhelming, quite humbling. It's been a really fun, cool, exciting process all the way through.
It's still exciting, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on the EP? I know it must change every time you listen to it. I know these are your babies, but are there any that stick out for the both of you, possibly?
They're all kind of weird. They've been around so long. Like, Feed 'Em to the Fire is my favorite one to play, but my least favorite one to listen to out of the 4. I don't dislike it. It's just my least favorite to listen to, but my favorite one to play. I guess because I get to be busy the whole time.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Yeah, it's changed for me. There's times where Possession is always a really fun song to play, and it's just a kind of a banging song. But then one week it might be Untouchable. I like them all. It was tough trying to pick a single to push, really trying to nail in on one. And going back to the feedback, one thing that's been cool is when we talk to people and try to see, hey, what was your favorite song? Or people's calling us and say, hey, man, this one's my favorite. They're kind of all over the map, which is flattering in a lot of ways to have so many different people feedback on different songs. And I feel the same way. There's times where, they're all near and dear, but there's times where playing them or listening to them, it changes.
I'm with both of you. I like Feed 'em to the Fire and I like Possession. I like Feed 'em to the Fire because of the intro and how it comes in and how it starts out and just the whole catchy riffs, hooks, everything in that song. Like I said, I mean, you've got your peaks and valleys on every song on this EP. So that, to me, that's what stands out the most. And I like seeing bands actually create something like that other than 1,000 miles an hour on every song and you're done. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
That was a rocket ship.
Right, when we're writing a song, like dynamics is a big thing for us. Like for me personally, my influences are probably not music that really relays into this. Like I like the Beatles a lot. And, none of the Beatles stuff is heavy guitars, but it's just I always like the soundscape they make, dynamics, whisper to thunder, the light to the dark, bring it up and bring it down. We try to write a song where on the top of it, if you're not a musician, it's catchy and it's got good hooks and you like it. But if you are a musician, if you dig deeper, we try to put some clever, interesting stuff in there.
Was there a song that you guys were working on that totally ended up sounding different than intended to when working on these songs?
I think all of them to some degree. They go through different phases from creation to when we're piecing everything together, and so we finally get a final product. I would say Feel at Night had some pretty major facelifts along the way. We kind of revamped some things, but up until the time that we actually recorded them, there's been so many little tweaks trying to refine it and make it the best we can, as Jason says, squeeze every drop out of it as we can. And so yeah, I think they've all kind of had some shifts and changes throughout.
Yeah, I'm a perpetual tinkerer. If a song just fell out of the sky and landed in my lap, I wouldn't be okay with just accepting it. We still got to take it apart and look at it from different angles.
Break it down, put it back together.
Right. We're terrible about that and good about that, I think.
Yeah.
You could be your own worst enemy.
I definitely am when it comes to this stuff. Like, I can't even listen to our music because all I hear is things that I wish I'd done differently.
Right.
All right, now, guys, you teamed up with Brack Owens with Ridgetone Studios, Troy Glesner with Spectra Studios for mastering, and Travis Wyrick with Lakeside Studios for mixing. How was working with all these gentlemen on this process?
It's been a cool process to go through. Brack was great. We laid all the tracks at Ridgetone. He was great to work with, gave good feedback. Travis, the way he hears it and mixes it, he's a total pro. He's been a long time. Great experience with him. Troy also at the end, mastering everything, just getting it to sound, putting everything in its lane. We couldn't have found a better group of guys to work with. And, we were really excited and proud of how it turned out.
Right. And I'll definitely say that, like, Brack at Ridgetone Studios was the guy that laid down the tracks. That has to be the toughest place for us and for them. And he was really, really, really cool about not trying to get in our way or not trying to bully us into anything. He pretty much just, was just there, just whatever you guys want to do, I want to try to capture that the best we can for us. And then it went to Travis Wyrick, which I don't know if you know his history. I think he's recorded 30 number one singles and Dolly Parton, everybody. And so him getting it, he mixed it for us, but he wasn't in the studio. So him having an ear that was very outside of what we've been involved in was really beneficial to us. Like in Feel It at Night, how on the outro bridge, how everything cuts to just vocals, that wasn't our idea.
Yeah. We
had music there, and he sent it back to us and just cut. And we're like, oh, dang it.
Something kind of cool about having somebody have a,
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
So it was cool having everybody in different places get a twist on it.
Get fresh ears on it throughout.
Well, Jason, you could have said, "Man, I was going to do that, but I didn't think it made sound pretty good." But good job on that one.
Yeah, I thought about doing that just then, but I thought, oh, this way to go.
You took my idea, man. What?
We don't want a guy like Travis Wyrick after us.
Do you guys still see the band musically growing from where it started up to the release of this EP? Do you still see the band wanting to go outside that box and challenge itself from song to song?
Man, the next batch of songs that we have are, you can still tell they're Count Pariah, but you wouldn't almost think it's the same band if you didn't really know like what Shibby's voice sounded like. You know, we definitely don't like to recreate ourselves again and again.
Yeah, I think we're just getting started, actually, kind of finding our stride and settling into our own sound even more. The next grouping of songs, which these four are great. I love these four, but there is definitely a shift in this next EP that we plan to put out sometime. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, the first four songs that you all hear is just that's probably in the first 6 months we were together at most.
Very, very early on.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah.
So how much songs do you have written right now that you got to choose from for? Are you going to do another EP down the road, or are you going to do a full length?
We don't know. It's just going to depend on the demand and working with Pavement and what everybody thinks how this EP does. And we've got, if you count these four, I think we have about 16 originals, and about 4 of them we've dismissed. Didn't think they were in our sound.
Didn't make the cut.
Good songs, but didn't really fit. We're trying to figure out like our avenue where we're going to go. We probably have about 8 or 9 right now that aren't on the EP.
But you take those other songs that you didn't make the cut for anything, those are still in your back pocket for later on, possibly.
Yeah, it's not that they're bad songs. It's something that we may rework and we may retool them. Just where they were, they weren't ready yet.
Yeah.
And so it may be something that we revisit, but we do have them. It's always something that we can kick around and revisit down the line and see if we hear it differently. And it's good to have those on hand as well.
Right. Unfortunately, to this point, we haven't had any lack of ideas. Probably too many.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Funneling the ideas than anything.
Funneling the ideas, yeah.
What do you guys hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of Count Pariah's music in general? What do you hope they get from it, guys?
I just hope they enjoy listening to it, whether they find some meaning in the lyrics or just the music itself. That's what it's all about, identifying with it or just jamming to it. And music is a soundtrack to life. I know it is for me. And I hope people can find some enjoyment in it.
For me, it would be, I'd probably say sincerity, even as pretentious as that sounds, is all the music. No one is faking. No one is not doing something they like. There's not one person that's having to do something they don't enjoy. It's just a good mixture of a drummer doing what he does and a bassist doing what he does and singer and guitarist just doing what they do. And just organically, like I was saying earlier, they just, by magic or some force, they just work together. So that's what I would say. No one's faking. That's all what we really feel and do.
Yeah.
What made you both want to become a musician? What was that spark, if you remember, for the both of you that said, yeah, this is what I want to try to do?
I grew up in a house of musicians. My mom was a singer. My dad was a lifelong musician. And I remember being a little boy just playing in a sandbox writing songs. And they were probably better than the ones I write now. But it's always just been something that's there for me.
Same thing here. My dad was a musician. I've got several aunts and uncles, and I just grew up around music being played in the house, and it's always been a part of my life. It's always something that I wouldn't know how to not play music, honestly. It's always been there.
And I also had the good fortune of being a kid before there was an internet, and so just sitting in the house, not pacified with screens all day long, and my dad just playing Led Zeppelin and the Beatles, just music going in the background nonstop. I think it brainwashes you to some extent.
So Jason was like myself. You had to go to the grocery store or the pharmacy at one point to check on your favorite band, like grab a Hit Parader or Circus Magazine or Guitar World or something like that to find out about them. So I was around that time, so I remember that. That was the days of the mysterious of the bands, like the mystique of the bands. Now it's like, right. Such and such had, I don't know, a Grey Poupon this morning for breakfast. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, it's a different generation too. We're lucky to be in both of them, hit that sweet spot. We know how they both work. Yeah, I remember when you actually looked at the album art.
Yeah.
Like I would open the CD, or my dad had records, and just open them up and actually look at it while you're listening to the music.
Yeah.
Yep. And they had those big, like if you bought a vinyl back in the day, man, they had they had the lyrics and everything to each song in those big pages, and I was like, this is awesome. And the smell of it, man, was so cool.
I I do remember that. That's Fresh Cellophane.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I know you both had a lot of music growing up, but was there an album or a song that you had to have that you listened to like every other week or so that just allowed you to escape or just gave you inspiration, but you just had to have that album at various times? If so, what was it?
That one's easy for me. It's not usually the music as much as just the time of my life and where it was. It's Stone Temple Pilots' second album. I think it's called Purple.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the time of my life where that one hit. And I had it on a CD, and they said you couldn't wear a CD out, but I think I did. Like, it was just on a loop. It was a time of life, and that album to this day, when I hear a song from it, I can still like smell what it was like outside and everything around me. So that one for me.
Mine's probably not as clear cut. There are so many influential ones, but I definitely can identify with the time of life. So, like, at different points in my life, there's been different ones, and whenever you hear it, it just takes you right back. I was a huge STP fan, big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, huge Zeppelin fan, and hearing certain songs can bring back so many memories. Just a rush, like I was saying earlier, the soundtrack to life. It just reminds you of whatever was going on, where you're at, what was going on in your life, and so yeah, I've probably got it's probably not just one. There's probably so many that I could point to.
Choose one. What
Oh man, probably Green Day Dookie.
Oh wow,
Nice.
Kind of right in that time.
Yeah, good
timing
album.
just as much as the music.
I think it's timing more than anything. Yeah.
That's a banger of an album too, man. I mean, that album was just off the charts. I agree with you. Sadly, I wore out a cassette tape of Metallica's Black Album.
That's great.
That's it.
Yeah, not just one, three. There was three of them that I wore out. So, yeah. That album was huge with me. But Master of Puppets by Metallica is my all-to-go-time favorite one. That's the one for me.
That's a great, I was listening to that one yesterday, actually. It's a great one.
That album saved my life. I'll just leave it at that.
Wow.
So, yeah. Folks, you want to get out and pick up Count Pariah's self-titled debut album. It's out right now via Pavement Entertainment. You want to pick that up and support this band. These songs on this EP, these 4 tracks, are absolute bangers. These are absolutely great. And as I mentioned before in the interview, I cannot wait to see what else they come out with. Jason and Dustin, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, tour dates when this all happens, this new EP, everything down the pipe. How can they do that?
You can find us on Facebook, Count Pariah. We've got Instagram. We're on all major socials, YouTube, Twitter. What other ones are out there? That's the main ones, right?
We're on all of them.
Yeah. They also find us at pavementmusic.com.
And before I let you guys go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Absolutely. This is Dustin.
And Jason?
With Count Pariah, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour Podcast. Get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link, and you definitely want to subscribe to the YouTube link because we will be giving away some stuff free here pretty soon. Also, get out and check out Count Pariah. Pick up their self-titled debut EP via Pavement Entertainment. It's out right now. Like I said, you will not be disappointed. Support these guys and give them a like, folks. Give them a chance. And Jason and Dustin, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, and I look forward to seeing what else you guys are going to bring out later down the road.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you having us.
Really appreciate it, man. Thanks.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.